Welcome or welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC. I hope you enjoyed the event so far. Before we dive into the next session, again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all partners and speakers. We cannot do this without you. If you really like the content, please subscribe to our CSC membership, where you can get loads of templates, framework, on-demand videos, and be able to rewatch all the presentation sessions for this event. So head over to customersuccesscollective.com and treat yourself there. So sit back, and here's the next session.
Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, based on where you I don't know where you're based for now. But for now, we got our next speaker, the Director of Customer Success for Modern Work, Microsoft. Hi, Slanka. How are you doing today? I think you are on mute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Ryan. Sorry. Hi, Ryan. And thank you so much for the warm welcome, and thank you for having me on this event.
Sounds great. And welcome. Everyone can see a lot of familiar names: Ken, Vijay, Hani, Astin. Welcome everyone from Australia, India, and Singapore. And next, we will have Slanka to talk about innovation-led growth. The stage is yours. Please take it from here.
Thank you so much, and hi everyone. Thank you so much for making time for this talk. We are going to talk about what does it really mean to have innovation-led growth, why this is important in customer success, and how a cross-functional collaboration plays a pivotal role in this growth story. Right now, let me just get started in terms of how Microsoft looks at the core mission and the customer success mission. The core mission for Microsoft, I think you have heard it on every forum, is to empower every human being and every organization on this planet to achieve more. And I think this is a very, very humbling mission, which helps you align with success of others and growth of others, and really create a win-win story on why you exist in the first place. Now, for empowering everyone, you need to be incredibly good at finding the insight and capturing the opportunity where there is a scope for improvement based on the current readiness of the enablers. And tech is a major enabler in that. And my talk will probably get a lot focused on how tech is an enabler and how we can use it for innovation. But having said that, there are many such enablers to improve any outcome that anyone can achieve, irrespective of their segment, their business models, how high they are in the value chain, how they are in the value chain, low they are in the value chain currently, their capital backing, their human capital backing, and so on and so forth. Right. So I think incredibly humbling mission. Inside that mission, the core mission that the customer success team carries is essentially to drive demand generation for our sales teams by continuous creation of value for our customers while optimizing the cost of generating that value. I think this is the core of customer success and why customer success exists as part of a sales org in Microsoft. Now, coming to the core part of this mission, which is a value creation for our customers, I really see value creation as three major pillars. One is the value enhancement, and that is where sweating the assets really plays a pivotal role, right? Are we using the tech to the best of its capability and to the peak of its capability to generate the value that is possible with the current investments that the customer has already made? That's the fundamental pillar of even moving into the next set of conversation with any business user. The second one is the value innovation. Value innovation is where your ability to rethink, reimagine, get the insights and convert them to the actionables which can act as enablers plays a pivotal role. While value innovation is incredibly important for the customers, it is also an incredibly important insight for the org internally, so that the product teams are focused on creating the roadmaps and product features which really matter. And customer success plays a very pivotal role, both in terms of bringing that innovation to the customer and at the same time influencing and hence optimizing the efforts required and prioritizing the product features that should roll out in respective product lines. Our ability to do the back end part better really translates into the cost optimization for the value innovation for our customers. And hence, I think this is also one of the core mission that this team carries. The last one is the management of perception of value. And I think COVID has really taught us how this can become a very, very important part of the whole conversation, right? Like, for example, uh, I manage the modern work team, customer success team right now. Uh, the remote work concept pre-COVID era was not something that will become mission critical for most of the CXOs, right? It was something that is good to have. It is something that will keep their employees happy. It is something that will help them operate more leniently, but it was not core mission. And the pandemic and the restrictions that got uh, that got triggered really moved the remote work paradigm from good to have to a mission critical priority. And our ability to anticipate this kind of perception, the change of perception that will happen in value of certain outcomes, and ability to pivot quickly, both internally and externally, to get those outcomes in an expedited path is also very important for customer success, right? We can't be laggards when the perceptions of the values keep shifting for the customers. Again, bringing that insight back is an incredibly good value to the sales organizations. The last one is uh, what happens and what does a customer success brings to the table for a customer that will help us drive all of this value that I was just talking about. The first one is, we bring a good mix of specialist and generalist to the fore. A lot of these are technical people, not necessarily the business folks, uh, and they specialize in a vertical. And I would like to see my teams becoming generalist on a broader set of technologies so that we are able to connect the dots. The problem of not knowing lot of breadth is a classical problem which can be expressed as, if you know only hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And that's something that we need to protect ourselves against. Curiosity, super important and super critical. Ability to question the status quo. I'll come to all of this in my next slide. And the last but not the least one is the verify assumptions when you are driving any outcome with the customers. Now, while I'm talking about why innovation will matter to a customer success team, let me just spend few minutes in explaining or giving my point of view on what innovation really means. And the first call out that I'm making to a HBR article, you could just Google this word innovators DNA and it will take to you to a very, very nice article that Harvard Business Review published a while back, which talks about how does an innovator really function. And there are few common traits that innovator carries, and these are, according to me, are good guiding lights on how the customer success professionals should think about their skilling in the core professional skilling part. The first one is the ability to ask the right questions, and this is really goes back to, do I know the unarticulated or yet unarticulated need of the customer? Am I trying to solve the right problem? And it reminds me of uh, very good, insightful quote from Einstein, which I heard this morning only on one of the talk that I was attending. Is he said, if I had just 60 minutes to solve a problem, Einstein said, if I had just 60 minutes to solve a problem, and the problem on which my life depends on, I will spend 55 minutes asking the questions. And once I get the problem statement right, I'm sure I'll find a solution in 5 minutes. That's how important it is to ask the right questions. The second one is association. Uh, this is part of applied learning, right? Ability to look at your own past experiences, your own uh, your own interactions, your own failures that you have seen so far in your professional journey, and create a loose framework around the problem which will help you associate that problem statement into those buckets and draw from them in terms of learning or the way forward. The third one is active observation. This is where I think both the system thinking as well as thinking for first principles kicks in. This is where an innovator starts objecting the status quo, or starts questioning the status quo and objecting the assumptions. What happens is most of the times people uh, try and solve a problem in a certain way because that's how it has been solved, or it has been attempted to be solved so far, right? And innovator is really someone who will come back and look at the path that we are trying to take and try and answer, try and ask a question around what is that am I assuming there? What has changed so far? Um, is there an opportunity to bring and disrupt an incremental status quo that is inherent in this work, inherent in this company, inherent in this industry, which will help me reimagine the solution in a different way. Then experimental part, right? So I think an innovator needs to be a doer, with an assumption that there are certain points that at which they will fail, and hence the ability to be resilient and come back from those failures with learnings and make sure that we do the next experiment better, uh, to increase our chances of success, right? I think that's also one of the core criteria. And the last one but not least one is the networks, ability to collaborate, ability to talk to different people, invite the perspective in, be vulnerable to your shortcomings, your lack of knowledge, so that people can fill you in, and at the same time be very generous about sharing your point of view and your knowledge so that everyone else in the room can benefit. I think those are the criteria that an innovator carries. There is also a very typical way that an innovator looks at the problem, and I think they are almost always pessimistic in terms of amplifying the problem. So if, like, for example, quantum technology, that I am very passionate about quantum technology. Quantum technology is probably 8-9 years down the line. We know that quantum will break the cryptography, but I am very pessimistic that once that happens, if all the digital future that we have built and everything that we are taking for granted in terms of our security in banking, healthcare, supply chains, even the way your child communicates with the teacher, the information that goes on that channel on digitally, all of that is at risk. And then the innovator becomes very optimistic about envisioning the solution, because what happens is we tend to get restricted by our understanding of what capabilities or enablers exist, and our projection of how those will progress in the future. So in next 8 years, what else will improve, uh, which can help me counter some of those problems. And uh, in general, as a human tendency, we will always underestimate the progress that we will make in those time frames rather than make, and we will always overestimate what happens in the next 1 year, right? So being cognizant of that and being very pessimistic about amplification of the problem, and then being very optimistic about envisioning the solution is also a key criteria on which I think the innovators operate. The third one is the ability to solve the problem with efficiency. I think this is a core skill. Problem solving and critical thinking for problem solving is a core skill. Again, if you just Google for World Economic Forum survey for 2025 skills, year 2025 skills that will matter in the professional space, they have listed out about 30 skills, but 70% of them really land into the category of problem solving. moving on to the ability to constructively respond. So I think uh, in the innovator generally needs to be uh, comfortable in the skin in the face of changes, right? So our ability to constructively respond to change, not get not yeah. So it's like this, right? In our jobs or as a human being, we expect to be routine led, and we sort of start finding comfort in that routine because it gets easier. Our muscles work in a way, brain muscle works in a way, and then it just becomes easier. And our ability to sort of that generates the resistance to the change. Being cognizant of that resistance and then uh, transcend it to constructively respond to a change is what the innovator does the best. And the last point is the radical and incremental innovation, to which I'll come in my next slide. Now, where are the challenges? I mean, it all looks so easy in terms of just a set of traits that every individual should carry, and you could pretty much say that everyone can be an innovator in an organization. Where is the challenge, right? And by challenge, I mean the opportunities to sort of navigate the org properly and ensure that innovation is democratized. The top challenges that we hear are lack of time and lack of capital. This is mostly you will hear it from the smaller businesses. The second one I discussed on my last chart is really human resistance for change. The third one is balancing present with future. I think a lot of innovations work like an arrow instead of a Formula One car. It just doesn't zoom fast. It it brings you back a bit and then takes you forward. And the businesses struggle on that bring you back bit because that becomes non-tactically in a quarter execution. Uh, the fourth one is how invested are your employees in innovating for your org, because it takes a lot of human brain capital. So are they equally passionate about improving your org and your customers as an organization? What is in it for them? Are they feeling motivated enough? Are they getting rewarded enough for bringing in those kind of innovations? This is a key question that gets asked. Uh, the next one is culture. We will spend some time on culture, about 2-3 minutes in detail. But essentially, what happens is innovation. People tend to bracket it as a research thing, and hence it is considered as core job of selected few rather than an inherent responsibility of everyone in the organization. Viewing it as an additional expectation instead of integral part of any priority, and the lack of appreciation to the incremental innovation. I think when we think about innovation, we tend to think about the radical innovation, that is high risk, capital incentive, and high rewards. These are the big bets of the organizations, very hard to democratize, and hence you will always see them getting centered in some kind of research units within the organizations. But there are incremental innovations which are like process innovation, uh, the collaboration innovation, employee engagement, the customer engagements that can happen, and there is lot of scope to bring that incremental innovation in. Lot of people can contribute to that, and at the same time, I think most of the on the ground incremental progress happens because of the incremental innovations coming in, and we tend to underestimate that, and not being too intentional about it. Now, culture and leadership is a key pillar here, which needs to get activated to get the innovation culture going in any organization or a business unit. It starts with talent, or your human capital. How diverse are we in our talent? Are we nurturing the diversity in our talent? Are we intentional about hiring? Are we intentional about creating team mix that invites the diversity in? Is first core pillar to get uh, to drive innovation within a team culture. Now, getting the team right is just a halfway done. you need the culture of openness and inclusion where people feel empowered to speak up and provide the diverse point of view. They also feel accountable to make their seat at the table count. There should be a culture of trust, because the moment you have got these high performance innovative folks in a team, there would be a lot of disagreements, and anything that will kill disagreement is the culture of trust. So people need to be very secure about thinking that their point may get shut down, but that doesn't mean that it was wrong. At the same time, they will get heard, and even if that means they are a minority voice, it will still get counted, and it will foster and make an impact in the decision making. I think those are your culture pillars, which are easy to say here, but were difficult to carry and execute. The last and but not the least one is increasing the risk appetite in every individual in your organization, right? We have grown up in a culture where we are gold on success, we are gold on outcomes, and what happens then is your failure. People try to steer away from failures, and when people steer away from failures, the major challenge there is you lose the opportunity to innovate. So, the way I look at my team is I would rather like them to always have one innovation-led initiative every quarter on their books, and say each individual needs to have one such initiative. That initiative may fail, right? But if it fails, we need to bring back learnings and then distribute the learnings all across, so that nobody else is attempting similar stuff again and again and failing again and again. I think that is also a very important part of collaboration to drive the innovation-led growth. The second point here is our ability to deal with ambiguity, because most of the innovation-led initiatives will not have clear goal, they will not have clear operational hygienes, and you can't solve it by being very tactical and be very scorecard driven or KPI driven, right? And what you need is really your inspirational leadership here, people who will inspire you to follow a mission, follow a goal, in spite of the risks involved, and they will energize you for the promise that initiative carries, irrespective of the ambiguity or the uncertainties. Moonshot is one of the favorite word that we use in Microsoft to really think about the stretch goals and think about how we could inspire the teams to do innovation. The last one is the role models, and this is very important, because what happens is at the leadership level, the senior leaders, if they start thinking about their role in the innovation as that of the facilitator, like I enable you, I empower you, but if they are not having anything, they are not bringing a new thought, a new innovation to the table, if the team is not seeing you as a leader fail and learn and be resilient in the face of failure and again attempt an incremental way, I think all of that talk will just become a talk. And so we need leaders who can role model the innovation in the organizations. These are just few tactical points that we use in Microsoft, or some of the points that I think we could use to make that shift happen. And some of the questions that I'm seeing here may get addressed as I talk through this, right? The first one is strategy. Are we solving for now, and are we building for future? And I think we need to create, in an individual role, we need to create that balance. That what percentage of the time that people are spending in achieving the tactical goals within quarter, within month, within next quarter, and so on and so forth, and how are they spending their time, which will help us build together for the future. The second aspect which I find interesting is gamify innovation. So maybe you could have internal hackathons, internal brainstorming quizzes, so on and so forth. But really make it fun, make it games, so that people become naturally competitive and they are naturally persuaded to sort of bring something to the table. Game doesn't really necessarily have to result in a monetary benefits, but the benefits like lunch with a leader or movie tickets or some vouchers and so on and so forth. I think that takes the stress off, and people who are stress free innovate better. Again, bring it into the mainstream, create rewards or the appraisal or incentives or whatever you might call it internally to your org, which are not based on immediate financial results, right? So create a way to incentivize people to experiment. Bring one pilot case in for a successful POC, first of a kind solution, first in the industry kind of solution, so on and so forth, right? So if you are able to really reward people professionally as part of their core jobs, which are not based on immediate financial goals, that can help foster that a bit better. And yeah, obviously reduce your over reliance on the tactical matrices. I think that's the strategy part. The second one is scaling. Scaling, I tend to approach this in two ways. One is the technical skills, because most of my team is very technical in nature. So the technical upskilling, I try and approach it very tactically, because this is a fast changing space and fast changing world. Tech changes every 6 months. There is no point you taking the big bets and create a 2-year long tech upskilling plan only to figure out 6 months down the line that's not the direction that industry takes, or something better is appearing on the window, right? So technical skilling, always tactical, and the core upskilling is always strategic. Core upskilling, by that I mean critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, ability, maybe communication skills, so on and so forth, which an individual can carry across the roles, across the profession. It's like skilling for lifetime. A lot of these skills are experiential, and hence they require a lot of leadership interventions to make the opportunities possible for the people to learn. And Microsoft tends to be very, very intentional about this part, right? How do you do a strategic core upscaling for your workforce? Then encourage the skill trees, and this is like, I like to think about skill as a tree. So you have root. The more deep skills that you carry on multiple domains, the better it spreads. And then you have a stem on which your core job today is based on. And on top, you have a spread of the tree, which is like the breadth of possibilities that you carry. And this is something that gives individual a traction on what is that they have been doing, what are they doing today, and what does that open up them up for tomorrow, and keep bringing that clarity so that people first strengthen the roots better and keep exploring the top so that they can broaden the horizons quickly. I think that's a good way of nurturing, especially the tech talent in the team, and retaining them within the organization across diverse roles. The next pillar I'll pick up is the culture. We have talked about it. It is in every fabric of the organization, and especially in the hybrid culture, our innovation networks tend to shrink because we are not talking to people of the work context. We are not really chit-chatting and bouncing off some ideas casually, which actually help a lot in the innovator's DNA. So we need to create those opportunities possible. So creating virtual offsites, spending maybe 5-10 minutes on gamification of a brainstorming session in every team meeting, or maybe creating an opportunity for impromptu stand-ups where you just call a set of people in the team and say, yeah, I had this idea, what happens here, and so on and so forth. Mimicking some of those impromptu conversations to nurture the innovation networks, and then carving out specialized time for people to do this brainstorming outside of the tactical matrices in the quarter is key, especially in the hybrid work. And the last but not the least one is the enabling of the continuous feedback channel from our customers. I'm on my last slide, folks. I talked about innovation a lot. Just going to spend a minute on why it matters in the cross-functional area. First of all, people carry skills across, and that really promotes innovation in every fabric of the organization. That's the first. Second is it helps cross pollinate. You bring learnings from any other business unit. Go back to the innovators DNA. You create different associations. You create different set of questions. You create different kind of experimentations on the ground, which lead to a new solution, and that really just helps you drive the incremental innovation faster. So helping getting teams creating project initiatives internally which help people or which compel people to talk cross solution, cross functional, is a key for innovation, and it really democratizes entrepreneurship in the entire org. So with that, I am on top of my hour. Thank you so much for spending time. I'll probably request Ryan. I'm on short of time. I'm requesting you to drop me the set of questions in maybe an email, and I'll answer them directly, and we can bring it to the forum. But thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for a lot of engagement in the chat, folks. Please do reach out to me on my LinkedIn if required, and happy to have a further conversation on this. Thanks much.
Thank you, Suranka. From our end, we still have time for a couple of questions. But if you got another meeting to catch up later, maybe I can suggest people to connect with you via LinkedIn. Maybe
Yes.
that's one of the easiest way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sorry guys, Suranka, I have to leave us now, but please connect with her via LinkedIn with all your questions. I'm sure she will be more than happy to answer them for you. And then I've also shared our community link here that you can join. And then Suranka, please also join here, and then people can share your knowledge, share a question, share a challenge, and then make connections over there. All right?
Sure. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time and
Absolutely.
patience.
No worries. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Okay. Thank you for everyone's tuning in live. Again, Suranka is not able to make it for the live Q&A session due to an upcoming meeting of hers. But please follow us and join our CSC community that I put up here in the chat. And then I'll look forward to meeting all of you in our next sessions and tomorrow as well. All right. See you guys. Take care. And I'll see you in about 25-30 minutes. Bye-bye.